Hey everyone, today we're actually going to be talking about Esther. So we saw earlier that the king got rid of his first queen, and so he's found this hot young new thing, and that's Esther. And he doesn't know that she's Jewish, and he's also just agreed to a plot to wipe out all the Jewish people. And so Esther's cousin Mordecai is convincing her to act here. Mordecai gave a copy of the law made public in Susa concerning the Jews' destruction so that Hathach, the servant, could go to Esther and report it to her. Through him, Mordecai ordered her to go to the king and seek his kindness to help for her people. She replied, "All the king's officials and the people in his province know there's a single law in a case like this. Any man or woman who comes to the king in the inner courtyard without being called is to be put to death. Only the person that the king holds out his golden scepter may live. In my case, I haven't been called to come to the king's presence for the past 30 days. When they told Mordecai Esther's words, he had them respond to her. "Don't think for 1 minute that, unlike all the other Jews, you'll come out of this alive simply because you're in the palace. In fact, if you don't speak up at this very important time, relief and rescue will appear for the Jews from another place, but you and your family will die. But who knows? Maybe it was for this moment that you came to be part of the royal family." Esther sent back word to Mordecai, "Go gather all the Jews who are in Susa and tell them to give up eating and drinking for 3 whole days, and I myself will do the same, along with my female servants. Then, even though it's against the law, I will go to the king, and if I'm to die, then die I will." See, she's the only one that can talk to the king, but doing so without an invite could be a death sentence. Right? He hasn't seen her in a month, and there's no reason for her to trust him. The king has been pretty passive and incompetent so far. So Mordecai makes these 3 arguments that are really the turning point in the story. First, he says, you might still die. Right? People from minorities who assimilate into the dominant group, they're still not immune to prejudice and violence. Then he says, rescue will come from another place. He doesn't name God, but what else could this be besides trust in God's deliverance? And this final statement that we probably all know, right? Who knows? Maybe this is why you're in this place, in this moment. And I think there's a reason this is the most well-known verse in Esther. It's a powerful statement of faith precisely because it's so uncertain. Certainty is actually the enemy of faith. If you know something for certain, well, then you'd have no need for trust. Who knows? Maybe is often the best that we're going to get in this life, as much as we don't want to admit it. That's actually the stance of faith. From that stance, we act. Esther resolves to go, not knowing what's going to happen to her. And so that's often where we are too, right? Especially in this bizarre moment that we find ourselves in. Maybe God, though, has put you in this place in this particular time for a particular purpose. And if you're being honest with yourself, you probably have some clue what that might be. So, can you speak up? Can you act? Can you take that first step of faith? Who knows? Maybe this is your moment.